he gave us the Sarijana lecture. Yes, sir. Right? I think Iqbal is the one who gave us. Yeah. And he said that, I'll explain for all those who don't know Urdu. He said, Vajood-e zan se hai, kainat mein rang, which means this color in the portrait of the universe because of women, which is great, I think. But I always add, and he should have said that there's sensibility and sanity also in the world because of women.
Yeah.
Otherwise, where would we be in this wild, mad, cruel world that we live in? Honestly, and to speak on women's rights, Shan, I don't know. Just too many rights around, I think, and no implementation. Lots and lots of rights, and we can go to town with those rights that we have. So many laws have come up every time there has been some problem like Nirbhaya, and then this sexual harassment at the workplace. So many new laws have come, but I don't know how much implementation there is with those new laws. Very difficult. And now one more law, the Triple Talaq law, which is just being debated madly. Nobody knows anything about it, and I don't. But however, it also is being, we can go ahead with it, it's very good actually, but between the corners of this flag I can say, I think it's the wrong party that has brought it. If somebody else, any other party would have introduced it, I think it would have just gone. But what to do now? So I am one of those who believes that that law is right and that should be there. And therefore I am very often called a Modi Bhakt. I'm sorry, I'm nobody's Bhakt. I'm my own Bhakt. But it's alright, that's what you believe, so you keep believing. Because whatever it is, the government did file a counter in the Supreme Court on this issue, which no other government has done so far. So that credit we need to give this government. And they supported what the Supreme Court said, that they banned the Triple Talaq. It's such a simple thing, that Triple Talaq, but we make it out to be something. They're debating it for days in Parliament on the last time and now, and for what I don't know. Because I think basically it's very patriarchal society we live in. Or if you agree with that. Even the men, I think, will agree with that. And therefore they think that women have to be controlled. I think every man thinks so. It's not just they have to be controlled. But they're all, sorry, pardon me, they're all control freaks. Due respect to all the men, have due respect. So, that's why they don't want it. There's no other reason that they don't want this law, that they don't want any other laws. Anyway, Shan particularly told me on human rights. Now, to me, human rights is, women's rights are human rights. That's how it is. And India is a signatory to all the international covenants, like CEDAW, and like the International Covenant on Social and Political Rights, and Cultural Rights. On many, many covenants, we are all signatories to that. India is. So I can't imagine that, but it's happening. India can violate any of those laws, those signatories, because they've done it. Now they go back on it. Anything already, of course, our rights are being violated left and right every day. But I'm saying that at least if we stick to that, what we have signed, those treaties, maybe things will change. But I don't know really. We've done nothing about implementing these laws. And I think all of you know the kind of laws that have come up. So many of them are there. Just name it, Domestic Violence Act. Then 498A against cruelty, and then there is POXO for children, sexual violence of children. Then you have the Dowry Act. Then you have the prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace. Any number of laws, but nobody really knows anything about it except a few people. And therefore, how will these poor women know about it? If we don't know about it, how will those ordinary women get to know about it? We'll never know. That is where this Triple Talaq law comes in very useful. Because once there is an act, a statute is there, then we're able to tell them that there is such a statute and you can, file something under that and there is redressal, hopefully. But when there is no law at all, like for the Muslims, and absolutely no law. Even the judges of our family court will be floundering there, So what do we do? How does this happen? And if any one of us would dare to tell them that, this is what it is, they think that they are the last word of the law, right? So we can't say much. Would you agree? The lawyer sitting here.
Always go on appeal. Always go on appeal.
Go on?
Always go on appeal.
Appeal? Oh, please. That's another 10 years.
That's the only option here.
Yeah, but I think we need to tell them also. I do. So they hate me. This really, they're still floundering. They really don't know, and I don't blame them because there is no law. There is no codification of any law except 2 laws in all these years. Codification means, like they're put together like your Hindu Marriage Act or Indian Divorce Act. So what we are saying is get this Muslim Marriage Act. Lots of women's organizations are saying this, but immediately you hear that it's an interference in Muslim personal law. But that's a myth as far as I'm concerned. There's no such thing as interference, Because what are these personal laws that they're always talking about? Whom do they concern? Only women. We're talking about inheritance, we're talking about custody of children, marriage, divorce. So everything relates back to women. And therefore, they call it interference in Muslim personal law, and Islam is in danger, and what have you. There are so many other things we can talk about where Islam is in danger. Well, that's another discussion for another day. But anyway, this is what is told to the poor women, and so that they're totally confused, and therefore Triple Talaq has become a very big issue in the whole country. For what, I don't know, because it's nothing that is to it. And my own feeling is it will never get passed, because they don't have the numbers in the Rajya Sabha, so it will be quite difficult to pass that law then, which we really need. Now, what does it say? That any man who divorces by saying this irrevocable talaq 3 times will go to jail. I think the wife is better off if he's in jail. Because if he's outside, what happens is, now because of this polygamy, he will go and marry another. I get married 4 times. He'll marry whoever he wants and have fun and travel. But she is there on the street with no maintenance, with 2 little children in her hand, and uneducated, quite illiterate. So it's very sad that if this law doesn't go through, we are back to square one. Though there is an argument that the Supreme Court has already passed the judgment that it is banned, is illegal, is unconstitutional, all the different things. But what is the point? And even the Chief Justice Taylor at that time said that you need to bring a legislation within 6 months or whatever. But then the opposition is not allowing it. And then you keep hearing about appeasement. I don't know really. Anyway, there are any number of ways of divorce in Muslim law. I'll come back to that later. That is, there's this talaq, which they give all at one time, the magic words. Or as per a holy book and as per the law laid down by the Supreme Court in one of the latest cases, it said you must give it over a period of 3 months. There's some time for arbitration, for reconciliation, look at what it is all about. And also, it will help the woman, to talk about it, to get some maintenance, to decide on the custody. But what happens is, that's never followed. Just one stroke, and they've done it. We don't know how to prevent it. That is why we want this law. It's a very terrible situation to be in, this triple talaq, as they call it. But the regular talaq is what it is every month you should space it by 1 month. For 3 times you say it. You have arbiters from both sides sitting and talking about it. Try to reconcile and see if this is a reasonable cause. Why are you doing this? But that never happens because there are no rules. There's no such thing that, grounds for divorce for a Muslim woman. There's no such thing. No reasons are given. Unilaterally he does it and that's it. And from the British time the courts have upheld it. So we believe that that's the law and now they're thinking about it. But yet he gets away with murder because he does it and he's gone, He's not here. And the women are just left high and dry with no maintenance for those children. There's nothing, And if They want, any of the women want to better themselves, they want to go abroad. Now the immigration, the passport, they say, where is your decree? We need a court decree. Now where is that decree? Because he said it even orally, he can say it on Skype, he can say it on WhatsApp, he can say it on the text message, and he's gone. It's a very unfortunate situation. I'm not painting a bad picture, but that's how it is. That's what it's all about. So then, that is where all these laws come in very useful. So what do? We're all the time innovating. That is, I'm thinking now what to do, how to help this woman. Most of them are, uneducated. The rich ones, the well-placed ones, okay, we help them. But these, where will they go? They have no money for anything. It's a very sad situation. They work, suppose they're doing a job in somebody's house, domestic help. Now they have to come to court. If we went to court, they have to come to court at least once a month. It's adjourned every month. I know one case where this lady told her you can't go. Her salary was 6,000 rupees and every month she would take off. And she said, I'm going to cut 200 rupees. So of course me out of the blue, I just called her up and shouted at her. I said, what do you think you're? She said, how can you interfere? I said, I will, because she's coming to court and I'm giving her the bus fare and the lunch. And how can you deduct 200 rupees? You're so big, And she comes to court, she doesn't come to meet any boyfriend or have a good time. Oh, okay, don't shout at me. Okay, I'll let her go. So it helped. I thought she would grow out of the job itself. So when they do that, then that's when it's a big problem. And there is another way of divorcing, that is where the women have the right. It's called a khula. That is, the woman wants a release from her husband. And therefore, she sends a letter saying that I don't want to live with you, and blah, blah, blah. To that, there is an objection that, but you need the husband's consent. Now, when he gives talaq, it's unilateral. He gets away with murder. But when she wants the release, she has to get his consent. Now, I believe it's wrong. You don't need it. Tahir Mahmood is a great scholar on the Supreme Court. He writes books. And he says, if the man can do it unconditionally, the woman can too. Which is very fair, I think. Why not? No, he also has a say in that matter. And then there is something called dower, you all know. That the man gives the wife as a mark of respect. But that mark of respect stops right there when the wedding is on. After that, she's thrown off in the road. So that money is hardly much. Battery sum, So there we go. Even that, what she wants the release, that's also gone out of door. She can't do anything unless he signs it. So now what we are doing is we are fighting that. If you can give it unilaterally, we can also give it unilaterally. Some courts are accepting it, but most of them are not. They say no, that's not the law. But who made the law? There's no law. We have to innovate and make the law ourselves now. The way it's going. So that's a very tough task we have. And there's something else called a mutual consent, like any other laws. And that's called a mubarak in the Islamic language. Okay, that's a mutual consent. They both agree and they sign. Okay, fine. Now the judges of our family court say, oh, you have to wait for 3-4 months after that. But why? You both have agreed and right away we're going to file it. That's for the Hindu law, where 6 months you wait, This is nothing. We have filed it. So everywhere you go, the woman has a problem. She can't do anything. I guess the whole world is like that. Nothing's doing. But here we don't have a law. Like there is bigamy, so you can't get, a Hindu man can't get married second time without divorce. But in the Muslim law, I'm allowed 4 and shout on the rooftop. And he can have 4 of them, 3 more. So he doesn't even need to divorce her, he can marry another one. So she's really left. It's not even funny how she's left high and dry on the streets. So when we have a Qazi who performs marriages and all that. Old man, poor thing doesn't know much. But anyway, he's appointed as a Qazi. He's not the only one. All over the country we have this. But what he does is, they come to him because they think maybe he will authenticate that and say that this is valid. So they come and he just signs. Even if he doesn't sign, he's got some people around there, hangers on, some lawyers, and they just sign and say, yeah, this is fine, and they even give them permission to remarry. That's the husband. I mean, really a good Qazi. You can tell them, yes, you can go and get remarried now, this talaq is valid. there's something called the Qazi's Act of 1880. So what I did was I meet so many women in such bad shape, by practice. So I went to court in 2013 and I filed this public interest saying that the Qazis are not empowered at all to give these certificates. It has to stop. Because under that act, he's not empowered. Now when it comes to performing a nikah, anybody can, even I can go and perform a nikah. It's nothing great, But they give him a lot of respect and they say that, chalo, let him come and do this. So I was very happy. It was Justice Kaul who was here as the Chief Justice, now presenting the Supreme Court. He granted gave an interim direction saying that they should not do it. So that was a big victory as far as I was concerned. At least nobody would dare to do it. But clandestinely things happen, not that they don't happen. But at least it's the law, because we have an order from him that it can't be done. Of course, my community was very upset after I got that order for two reasons. One, they said you can't interfere, and secondly, you're insulting the Qazi. I said, but he is insulting the whole world of women. So what? I'm not insulting in any way. So that, this is just off the record. They came in about 2-3 auto rickshaws and 25, 50, 100 people came right to my house and they decided to throw acid on me. Which I said it's okay because at least I'll go down in history. Because I was fighting this, so it's okay, I think. It doesn't matter. But anyway, the intelligence called me a day before and said, ma'am, this is what. And I remember poor Amma, Madam Jayalalitha was alive and she said, no, she needs to be protected. Come on, go there, and we all came. Like I was some big shot, they surrounded my house, police and everything. And so that was that. But they said it can't be done. They came and impleaded themselves. Many women also came and impleaded and said that's wrong. But however, that direction stands. And he cannot give, but he does, I think. Poor thing, what can he do now? That nephew of his is there who's a lawyer, and quickly he takes some money and he signs it off. So I know because the women come back to me and say, why is these women take it seriously, though we tell them don't take it so seriously, don't bother with it. The parents are older and they say that it's come with that government seal on top, which says that the Qazi, Chief Qazi, and he is giving this. I said, you just tear it out, don't even bother with all this. You're still married. You don't bother. So, what I'm trying to say is, we don't know how to get out of this. Where do we go, these women? It's very unfortunate. In that context, now this triple talaq is important because you can't just divorce them and go away. We can catch hold of you and put you in jail at least. But they don't like it. They rather have another woman or 2 more women. Now, why would they want to go to jail? But you talk to any of the women, my clients or anybody, they say, no, let him go and sit inside the jail. Anyway, he's not paying me. He's going to get married. I said, all right, let him take the second wife and go to jail. You stay where you are. But it's very difficult to do it. I have done it in 2 cases where he has gone to jail. And in 1 week, he came out. Okay? And on the Facebook, he says, bye-bye, I'm going to Bombay, I'm out of jail. And how shameless can you get? It's very unfortunate. Now, how do we catch this guy, But he had moved bail. So, okay, that was pending. In between, I had told this woman to just write that I'm not going to be with you. For whatever it's worth, let's get a divorce. Just by writing, then release from him. So she wrote, and he got it and he never came. The maintenance case was pending, he never came back. But then we moved for his arrest. So he was arrested. That's the time he was arrested. He went, all that happened. Then he came before the High Court. I don't want to mention any names. He came before the High Court and the lower court had ordered maintenance already of 7.5 lakhs on the arrears and put together everything. Till today, from last April until today, orders have not been passed in that case. And this is very important. It's not being passed. That girl just, and she's divorced. According to us, she's divorced. But she wrote a divorce and he accepts it in his counter, saying that yes, that's why I didn't come to court. I thought we're divorced. But the judge has not passed orders. Now what do we do? Where do we go now? Such a sad state of affairs. That's the only simple word I can use. And if you look at all this background, don't you all think the guy must go to jail? And then it cool he's there a little bit, Why do we even need him running around town? Ram Rahim wants to be out.
He got it for road.
Pardon?
He got it. He's been granted for road.
Oh, today is it?
Yeah, Haryana government
Sure.
recommended for that.
He's been granted for imagine.
For farming.
For farming. Oh my God. Frightened Union, what is it he's going to do? Those poor women complain or whoever, they will be in big trouble, you know. But I guess all the laws are only subjugation of women, that's it. I believe strongly, that's all it is. Therefore, I think we all need to fight together. You don't need only lawyers to fight this. I always disagree, you know. Each one of us, you know, it could be a maid in the house. If you can help her, you know, to fight it. There is a legal aid cell, it's a free legal aid, or any one of us are very happy to do it pro bono. But we can't go on a deaf and a blind, deaf ear and a blind eye to all this. Because then we'll get nowhere, we'll only be having these conversations here and that's the end. You can invite another person here, nothing moves if you don't take it up seriously, you know. And I think each one of us can do it, I believe very sincerely that, you know, we can get together, we can have human chains, and we can have these, whatever mochas, whatever you want to have, and you know, just to say that what is happening is wrong. Of course, some people have told me that what did non-Muslim women know about these laws? I said the same way that I know about Hindu laws, but what do you care? A woman is a woman, right? Just stay out of it, you know. But what they have to threaten, as I said, I still don't have the acid on my face, but it's okay. And I said, I'm going this town in history, I'm very happy with that. I don't care really. But what I'm coming to say is that where do we go from here? If that act is, if that bill is not made an act, that's one thing. I think all of you know about the Shahban case. Must have heard, you know, about it. That's 1986. So today is 2019, it's not 1986. So we have woken up, women have woken up, I must say that. But 86 again, the act, the judgment was passed that women will get maintenance even if they're divorced. But everybody sat up and fought and Rajiv Gandhi did what he did. And that's it. They brought an act to nullify that judgment. That was the end of it. So I'm sure even if this comes, they're going to do something about it. I don't know, but it's a very unfortunate situation in the country. And everybody is talking about Triple Talaq. Nobody really knows what it is. That's how it is so simple. We are saying that you should take permission before you get remarried and not divorced. Therefore, my answer to all this is every divorce must go through the court of law. Like any other divorces go through the court of law. Every divorce, there has to be a judicial divorce. And that's not so difficult. You have to go to court and get this. And also there will be less, there will be no multiplicity of proceedings, like, you know, custody and inheritance and maintenance. Everything will go into one. The judge will hear it, but that time hasn't come yet. If you remember that Vishaka case, the sexual harassment, she went to court, there was no law at all, but the courts directed, you know, and gave all kinds of guidelines, and that became law afterwards, sexual harassment. So I look forward that this also is going to happen as far as the law on talaq. We have to have it. Only go through judicial. Forget about all this. What the holy book says, what the Qazi says, what I say, what anybody says, or what it has to go through the court of law. Somebody files for a divorce, then you can hear the other side. This is very unilateral. The wife has never heard, as I said, Skype and WhatsApp. You can just send the talaq. There's no problem at all. But that's it's unfortunate, but that is what is happening today. And that is why they're debating so much, because the Maulvi, the Mullah, the league, the so-called leaders of our community are saying that, you know, it becomes an interference in the law. But where do you find? Do you find any interference even for the common person, even for the layman? What is the interference that they are bringing in? They're just trying to help women. And that's not allowed, right? You have to, you know, what all the Constitution says, and the freedom of religion. But that's only for men. Everything is for men under our Constitution. There's no talk about equality, there's no equality as such. Or even the Constitution, though it says for everyone. You know. But our guys tell us everyone, not only Muslims. See, everywhere it happens that, you know, it's only all these rights, everything is for men only. Even the constitution, I think, is for men. So today I just heard this TMC MP.
Mahua Mautra.
Mahua Mautra. She spoke beautifully, in Parliament. That was a maiden speech in response to the President's address. Thanks to it. Oh, she really spoke very well. And she said, "Hamara bhi Hindustan hai. Why do you think it only belongs to your government? This space is for us. The house belongs to us. So, we should be able to say that Constitution belongs to us women also, not just to you, We will also fight it. But it can never happen just by, my coming talking here or somebody else talking. Each one of us have to stand up. Definitely, each one. You can't say you're busy. We're all busy in our houses. We all have children, right? We all go to work. Nobody is that busy that you can't look at a marginalized, downtrodden woman and not help. And it's not about money. We're not throwing money. It's about that you have that empathy, that sympathy for her. You can lead her. Definitely, you can lead her wherever it's possible for her, whichever lawyer or the legal aid, wherever, so that she gets some justice. Only then the men will be afraid also. Otherwise, they think, who's going to help her? We are poor anyway. Just nobody will help. Just dump them. In fact, we shout and say, "Why didn't you come on time?" "Oh, court to Poonamma. I don't care what court you have to come to work." I mean, I'm not talking about this group here, but generally that's what they say. We don't care where you have to go. They don't come lose your job. It can't be like that anymore. So this triple talaq, in essence, is only this much that we are saying. I'm rather definitely saying, I've written about it, that what we need is to go to court and get a divorce. No triple talaq, no regular talaq, no khula, no mutual consent. We don't need all that. We need to place paper before the court. The court will hear the other side also, and all this can be passed. Now the other argument is, this is so simple. If you go to court, it will take 10 years. That doesn't matter. Everything takes 10 years. What does it matter? I mean, what do we want? What justice do we want? Some kangaroo justice? Where in 1 minute she's divorced and she's on the road. We don't want that, right? We don't care if it takes years. But at least she still remains his wife. If he's dead and gone, it's okay. She'll at least inherit me from him. It's very unfortunate, but this is what is happening here. So there are any number of laws, any number of laws.
When you say here,
Pardon?
when you say this is what happens here, is it the same abroad? But it's the same Muslim law. And it's
No,
the same.
Dum Tabake, Hindi?
Yes.
Dum Tabake, Khadke, we follow the law of the land.
Oh, so that's rather convenient.
Pardon?
Rather convenient, because
You know what will happen if you don't follow the law of the land and they give away 50% of their assets in the matrimonial dispute. What we do? No, it doesn't happen. And how many Muslim countries around us, even Pakistan, they have changed these laws, they've got a lot of reform there. All this is gone, there's no polygamy, you cannot get married. It's only in India that we are custodians of Islam here. I tell them. I give the reason, we are all the custodians. There's nobody else a better Muslim than us. That is why we're doing all this. But they hate me, but that's fine. But that's how we behave. Even the top leaders, they're all behaving like that. What do you tell them? Oh, you don't know, she'll never get maintenance. And anyway, she's not getting maintenance. Anyway, she's not getting 1 rupee, So let them sit in jail. We'll find our way to get the maintenance. I think the satisfaction is not jail, right? For a while, let them prove that. But even that they won't allow. What do you do next? I don't know really what we do next. But every day we all talk about the Constitution of India and how we put our head down there and we take the oath and what is happening?
What about Meher?
And Meher is there, Just measly sum. Such a means, that's a dower and the man pays to his wife during marriage. Such a measly sum. What do you do? Can't even keep audience all together. This is bad.
what does the UN say?
US?
The UN, with humanitarian rights, what do they say about these
You saw the other day when the US gave a report that there were infringement of minority rights in the country. Government thrashed it right away. There's no such thing. You have to accept all that, right? It's a fact what they wrote. They did their study and I mean, what does amnesty say? Even amnesty. I haven't read the recent report, but we just thrash it. And why are you interfering in our country and what happens here is the next argument. No, it happens. It's not. So when I say this, they say it's not just women. Everybody is getting. I said, so it's for you not to quantify that. Why would you? Why are you only working on this women thing? There's so many things are happening. I need to mention. Why you can't fight that?
How far are we from? Pardon? How far are we from just eradicating religious?
How far are we
from eradicating religious law? I don't understand.
Eradicating religion?
Religious law, like separation of
I know. It should be done very soon. That's why they talk of the uniform civil code.
I don't understand why the religious. Yeah, we were supposed to be a secular country.
That's why they talk about the uniform civil code. That's where that code comes in.
But still they're applying, with this Hindu
They're applying
law.
separate laws. Or
So
personal
uniform
laws.
civil code according to you will be a good idea? A uniform civil code according to you will be a good idea?
Time hasn't come. As far as I'm concerned, the time hasn't come. Because what will happen? We fight more and shout more and there will be no law at all. You know? I'm saying just codify what we have. You say Muslim Marriage Act, we have the grounds. Right now there's no grounds even for divorce. There's nothing happening. Like nobody knows what the devil is, nothing. You know, it's like, and men will just change wives like they change their shirts or something. Left, right, and center, they don't bother. Because it's the clergy that is with them all the time. The clergy is with them all the time. The clergy, who are they? The personal law board. They want to speak to the government. And I say that who are they? They don't represent me. I would speak to the Prime Minister. Why they need to speak, you know? Because we work at the ground level and we see the people and we know what's happening. And we should be part of the codification. There's so many women's groups who do tremendous work, you know. There's somebody called the PAMA, there is a BMMA, Muslim
in Bombay, in
Bombay, Ahmedabad group. They do a lot of work. They send thousands of signatures saying that they support the law. But they are also Modi Bhakt, they call it. So ultimately, I don't know which Bhakt and what not, but we are trashed. That, of course, we don't give up. Women never give up. Because the power is never given to women. What is Virat power? That is because you can't just say that, you know, you're waiting for someone to give you some power. Nobody ever gives you anything. That is women. You have to grab it and do it. Sit there and do it. Giving a little short.
No, I'm not.
What am I talking about? But that's the fact, that's the truth I'm telling you. Anyway,
Completely agree.
you come from the high court, so you know. Huh? You know all about it.
Women has to work twice the hour.
Huh?
Women has to work twice harder than men.
Absolutely. In every field, they're juggling all the time. Yeah, tell me.
Sorry, when you say codification of the law, do you mean take apart each, like talaq, deal with that separately?
Say Muslim Marriage Act.
That's what you mean, like each part of it. It's only in social structure where religious law applies, correct?
Social structure?
Only in terms of personal law.
Personal law, yes,
Only,
yes,
and that's
yes.
where it stops. So we're talking inheritance,
Yeah,
land,
custody.
and custody and maintenance. So you mean deal with each individual one and try to bring that into the fold
Yeah, just
before
bring
going
it as
after
a,
the
like
people?
you have
Is
the
that-
Hindu Marriage Act. That's what it speaks about. All the rights of the women and the men. But we do that, then we know. At least the judges will know what to follow. Here we are floundering, we don't know what to follow. Nobody knows. You know, I had a client the other day and I took a call. I said, see, this judge hates me, so it was the family code. You please tell me what you want to say. She said, Muslim girl. And she had given the Khula and he had okayed it, he had signed on it, everything was done. But what happens now is you have to get a declaration from the court that divorce is valid. Otherwise, the authorities on the passport and immigration, nobody will accept it. So we went there and she had written 3 months and 10 days, that is over. That is the period where suppose the woman is expecting. maternity and the husband dies. So they say 4 months and 10 days you have to wait to establish that. But this is a divorce, so she said 3 months and 10 days she put on there. How can you put this down here screen? So she said, because it's not. You must put 4 months. So this girl tells him, I'm not widowed, I'm only divorced. What do you mean by saying 4 months? I said, that's it, okay, so we dismissed it 2 minutes and finished it. I said, sure. And we came out and we changed it and we put it as 4 months. You're teaching us to lie. You're teaching us to do wrong things. We did it, it's got a declaration gone over. So what else does one do, no? You have to survive, right? And she needs that. You can't go abroad because you need that decree from the court if you have to go anywhere. For anything, married, divorce, they ask, if you say divorce, where is the court decree? So to avoid all this, we need our law to be codified, Otherwise, it's going to be very hard if they don't. But there will be objection till the end of the world. They will not allow that out. Because control, lesson that control is very important. I mean, not that we are controlled or we do what we want anyway. Even I think the women, the most marginalized women do more than we can do. We are so worried about society and structure and what this one will say. They are not bothered. If you deal with them, it's a pleasure to deal with them. They say, it's okay ma'am, you tell us you want us to do that, yes. And they have done it already even before I can tell them. It's great. I'm sure the maids who come to your house, how smart they are. My goodness, they're not bothered. And they know much more than I would know. The way they talk and they're getting that free there and this is happening and did you know this? And they fight for water. Right? So they're very bold, I think they will succeed better than us. Because we are so afraid of society and what that one. Forget it. There's no such thing, But it's very important but to lead them right. That's where I say we need to help, We might know the law, but that's not all. We need to lead them properly in the right way so that they know what they're doing. And I think the day is not far off when it will happen, but there'll be a lot of confusion, there'll be chaos in the country as I see it. Because and some government, some major parties will also join hands, as you know, with the Muslim community or whichever community, and that's it. I don't believe it will get done so easily, but yet I have great faith that if everyone raises their voice and it might go through, and this Rajya Sabha is very important. Of course, he is left and right doing what he has to do to get his numbers. That's another issue. But so somebody told me, I belong to the Congress, right? So they called me to say something on this just 3 days ago. I said, no, I don't think I'll come. He said, why? Is it because you belong to the Congress? I said, no, I'm not afraid of that. No, but you can't say anything that you can't say anything opposite because they won't support it. I said, you know what? I support women. Congress comes next. First come women, then the party. I'm not worried at all. At the most, what will happen? They throw me out. The way it's going in the country, just jump from one party to another. Who's going to support the women? Maybe I don't know what I'll do, but they're telling me on the phone, this guy from leading the media house, he's telling me that, oh, you're not coming because of that. I said, no, I'm just not coming, that's all. Nothing to do with the Congress or any other party I belong to. So I'm saying, how will it ever work? How will anything work? So this bill, I don't know if it will have work. Every day I think it's being debated now. I think yesterday also it was yes. But I don't know when he will bring it back again. And
how did this corruption take place from the original talaq once in every month for 3 months? How did it suddenly become an instant?
It used to be instant, was accepted, it used to be. Even Privy Council, British Times used to accept it. Even here the judges, only now with this much hue and cry, it was accepted all along. All along.
How come no other country follows it?
Pardon?
How come no other country follows it?
I told you, we are the custodians of
No,
Islam.
how did they change from...
They brought about reform. which we can also do here. We can also bring reform. We're not doing it, of course. And how did Sati go? Right? That was reform, no?
Ma'am, you said that if they do go to court with divorce, it will take years upon years, but she'll still be his wife, right?
Yeah.
But in that case, aren't you afraid of domestic violence taking place or abuse just so that she agrees and gives him a letter saying, I want a divorce and he can be free? Like, doesn't that happen? There are so many Hindu cases where that's happened, where the parents of the husband or the husband themselves have tortured the wife so that she signs the divorce papers. In the case of him being taken to court because the Triple Talaq is no longer accepted, won't domestic violence cases increase?
Let it increase. What can we do? Muslim women find domestic violence all the time. They're not bothered, you know. They find them. And they're always at the police station with their burqas. Look at where we've come in 2019. The pleasure to see that. I know what you're saying, but again, what else can you do? How do you face it? It has to be increased, right?
When you go to the police station,
Pardon?
when you go to the police station,
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many Muslim women go to the police station with their burqas and they come to court. That's a big change, you know, that you see. Yeah.
I just have a question on the criminalization aspect of the bill. The bill is essentially criminalizing Muslim men for asking for a divorce. I just want some clarity on as to why you think this is a good thing, because at the end of the day, it's filling up our prisons. If the woman is still not getting maintenance, and on top of that, more and more Muslim men are being jailed for not a criminal act per se, because they're not, they haven't. I understand how harm can be different, but they also haven't, killed someone, murdered someone. They're asking for a divorce, and in asking for a divorce, they're being punished. So I understand what you're saying, that there should be a law and there should be unanimous, the divorce should follow. But the way that the bill is doing it is just simply saying you are a bad human being. You should be a prisoner for
But
asking.
it's the wife who's giving the complaint, no? So don't do it. Simple, don't do it. And if you do it, it's only your wife who's complaining. Earlier, that bill when it first came, it was anybody. Now it's diluted. Now they say the wife, come close with it. So it's just between them. If the wife doesn't go to court, yeah, you're saying Muslim men. Muslim men, I don't know. I don't know. But answer, I don't know, because I don't believe at all in that. But criminalization, huh?
They're not being criminalized for asking for a divorce. It's for
No,
saying
no,
that
but she says the punishment.
the punishment
that is
is
criminalization.
criminal. They could go to a regular court and ask for a divorce, in which case they won't be penalized.
Yeah, so
No.
simply saying.
But they're not doing that.
Only
They're
triple
just,
talaq is being criminalized.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not the act of asking for a divorce.
But that's asking.
that will be criminalized by giving the punishment. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. There's a lot of debate on that also. But I just told my eyes and ears to all that. You know why? Because if we go into all these details, it will never happen. It's never happening. And it will never happen. Some of the guys think they're very smart, and on TV they're saying all this. Who will give her maintenance? Who's giving her now? She's anyway on the road. Who's giving her?
Yeah, so instead of going in this manner of this, shouldn't we divert our funds and budget into making sure that there are structures and ensuring maintenance instead of going the way that this bill is gone? This bill kind of takes up time and money of the government, of the people in listening to these debates. And now nobody's talking about where the money should be diverted to ensure structures and maintenance. For sexual harassment, we have a law, like you said, for ICC and LCC. But none of that is implemented. There's none of the budget goes in this.
Yeah.
So instead of talking about why this act is good or wrong, why aren't we talking about why the budget isn't going towards maintenance, right? So the discourse also is around certain aspects.
Yes, we take other aspects, like a gender budget.
Yeah.
I know when I was MLA, I said first thing we need is a gender budget. What are we talking about here? All the time it's this grant, that grant, and forest grant. What about the women? Do you know that there were 1,000 crores at one time after this Nirbhaya case? And I think today it must be like 2,000-3,000 crores sitting there. Nobody used it. The government did not use it. It was meant for women. Nothing. I don't know if I answered your question, because I am evading the criminalization part of it. I know. Because I feel if we go into all that, we'll never get a. So don't do it, I'm saying. Don't do it. Why are you doing it? If you do it, your wife is going to complain every time. You have to go to jail.
Do it over 3 months. Don't do it 3 times. Don't say
That's so simple.
Who
Who
gets meant to do it? Do
Nobody
it over
stopping
3
you
months.
from that.
Then you don't go to jail. Do it over 3 months.
We want to do that.
Do it
But
the
even over 3 months, what happened? Let me share it with you. They will send it to the wrong address. It happens to the wrong address, and this woman will never know. So they say, why do we need to tell you? I told you, Skype and SMS, and very often If they have to file a maintenance case, they have to give a counter, they come to court, and in that counter they say, okay, if you don't accept my earlier divorce, here I am divorcing you. Now that is stopped for the first 5 years. Can you imagine? That they come and they just say that. It's just, they become like that thanks to the clergy, that's all it is, nothing more to it. They say that everything is alright, otherwise the power will be taken away. All a question of, power. Believe me, there's nothing more to it. Is that when you hear everything, you know it is only that. You can't do anything. I know in Bombay, when this Triple Talaq came, there were about some 50-75,000 women in Bombay, I believe, who were walking, they had this big rally. And one of the journalists asked them, Acha, kidhar ja rahe ho? Where are you? What is it that you're fighting for? We don't know. They asked us to come, so we are here. Those poor women don't know anything. They're just following. They're being shepherded around. Because illiteracy is so rampant. They don't know what is happening. Not that illiteracy is not rampant in other communities, but because you have a law to fall back. You have bigamy. So if you get married a second time, you can go and sue them. But you can't do it because we don't have a law. That's why the codification comes in. Even before this, the codification is very important. To say, like a handbook, this is the law. At least we know what it is. Everybody will know what it is.
But if you look at the Hindu undivided family law, it's a law, but how is it a law?
How is it?
How is it beneficial to women?
It's no longer that.
That's just, that is very recent.
That is for income tax and all, they do all that.
Yeah,
That's right.
in 1956, the whole act was broken up. What the Hindu, the Mitakshara and those two families were broken up into codified law. So if something went wrong, they'd have a law to fall back on. So that's what codification is. Whatever has been written in the Hindu undivided family kind of now becomes a law that you can address. Before it was just what was said in by the books and the
But the
Vedas.
law, anyway, doesn't do anything for women.
It does. It now allows women to have a
co-partners. Now they become co-partners, women. Yes, they get a share.
Now it became co-passers, and very recently in 2009, I think they're allowed to get the property directly from their family. This was only because the law that we codified said so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the law before it didn't allow it.
I feel that Muslim women are more suppressed than other religions. So, yeah, at the moment.
It is everybody's perception. I think it's also a perception. The moment you see them in a burqa, the moment you see that, you feel that they're oppressed. Why are they wearing it? They're oppressed.
I meant in terms of the law.
To start from there.
Okay, starting from
They're oppressed is what is assumed. Yeah, assumed. We don't know that. To ask, I know in one of the colleges, such a resurgence of Islam, a resurgence of burqas. I studied there and I've never ever seen any girls who had it. Now it's like every other girl is wearing them. I think it's a lot of peer pressure also. You're told that.
I have actually stopped a couple of them and I've asked them. I mean, I know them. They're daughters of our master. And we've known him forever, so I couldn't believe that he had his daughters in Burqa. But anyway, I asked, they said actually we feel good about it because there are a lot of people who get teased on the road and, well, I insulted and he said we have no problems at all because we just, so I don't know.
They feel
That is just
safer.
shying away from the problem.
Sorry?
That is just shying away from the problem.
It's shying away from the problem of men teasing women.
Men should be more aware, they should be taught when
As
they.
far as these girls are concerned, by the time that happens,
That's
I
true.
think
This is a stopgap arrangement. We should focus on more common
I
as
think
well.
it's also a matter of a lot of younger people wanting to reclaim their religion and be more in touch with their religion and their rights to
I
it.
don't
And
think this, at least the girl I was talking to, I don't think that went through
not
that.
parents Islam with the right. Feeling cornered and therefore I'll show you I am.
I think
Yes, that's also that
that
now,
also.
but I think at the time when I asked was several years ago.
But today it is a question.
Yes, today
your
absolutely.
identity, your religion.
Yes.
It is.
But is wearing a burqa necessarily religion part of Islam?
Well, it tells the
They
world
say
that
cover
I am
yourself.
Muslim.
Modesty.
And I-
Modesty. But then the men also, the man is not supposed to look at anyone. His must be down there. He's looking at everybody left and right. and offering people like what they tell me, can we drop you home? I said, no, not really, you can't drop me home. Against Islam. What else do you do to these guys? That's all right, they are willing. But you know, what does it say? You have to know your gaze. Not look at the women, and they have to wear the burqas. And they are told to reclaim their identity. They are told, it's not just that they want to do it. They are told, see what danger Islam is, you have to wear your burqa. Many girls have told me that. You know, the mother doesn't wear the burqa, but the children are wearing it. How many instances there? Why? My father and my brother, you know, the male in the house. You're jumping from the father to the brother, and all the guys in the house are telling you what to do, right? So they wear it. Yes, it is reclaiming. Would you say that, my Yes? There she goes, all covered fully. She thinks I'm terrible. No, but it's true, no? But then we feel, leave it. It's their life and let them wear it. I know in the mosque, we never were allowed to go to the mosque, right? We were never part of that main street. This big mosque in Bow Road, Anjuman it's called. I wrote letters left and right and said, why aren't we allowed? Many years ago. They said, no, no, we can't allow this Maulvi and that Maulana said, you can't come. Okay. After some years, they allowed, shut it down. We had a separate, quite a nice place. So I would go there on Fridays and of course for the Eid Namaz. So this one lady, she's like a policeman in that mosque, and she told me, you know what, I can see a little hair here. I said, so what, yeah, they're all women here, what do I care? No, but they don't understand. I said, what should I do? Next day she brought me, next Friday she brought me this hijab, like, you know, fully to me. I said, what is this? No, you're showing here. I said, so what? No, they're looking. I said, who's looking? It's women here. I said, God is looking at you. I told her one thing. I said, when I was born, no, God saw me naked. And when I die, He sees me naked. Only afterwards that coffin comes.
He sees you naked all the time.
Huh?
He sees you naked all the time.
So He sees me all the time. What does it matter if I don't?
You accept her as
omnipotent
omnipotent,
and very
omnipresent,
close to
everywhere all the time.
Don't say this to the youngsters. And of course, I think you call me, you're giving bayans, you know, they're giving these sermons. They say, you call me for a sermon. We won't talk law now. Let's talk about, you know, what we should do. No, we're not calling it. No, it's okay. But imagine that to tell me this and to buy me that and bring it. I said, hell with you. You know, I don't care. I don't wear it. It's very sad, really. See the young girls, they are not, they're oppressed because they're forced to wear. They're not reclaiming their religion in that sense, you know. It's very, but then in America when I went, I saw them, they're wearing tight pants, curve in the back, and they're wearing hijabs, and hijab is still here. Now how are you going to cover that back?
All the men are looking at you.
Yeah, I said, I'm sorry, why are you wearing these tight pants? You're wearing some loose stuff because you're wearing it, hijab is still here only. You're showing all everywhere what you should not be, so all your curves. You're just out to get us all. Yes, I am out to. That's the only way maybe sometime it might register. But what should I say? That's Muslim law. I'm not ridiculing it. I believe that it's a great law. It's for all times. The Holy Book is a very dynamic book. It's for all time. If you follow it, and it's quite egalitarian, but you have to follow it. These are all man-made laws. What I'm telling you about is all man-made laws. Nothing is there for them. That's why we are in this state.
Would you say that interpreted for the times?
Yeah, that's why we are in the times. But even though it will be good enough for the times also. I know if you saw today, this Noah's Ark is being built in America.
Yeah, it got flooded.
Pardon?
It got flooded. And they showed the suit insurance company as that.
Oh, yeah, huge it is. No,
I don't
it's that ark. It's called Noah's Ark from the Bible.
They were building by the lake and it got flooded and they sued them.
No, but it's fine now. I think they got it set. No, it's fine now. It's fine now. They have to show now what's in the Bible. And also in our book. Also there in our book about Noah's Ark. Huge structure. Huh? That big ship or something there. Fantastic. I just saw something in the WhatsApp. The famous WhatsApps we have. Every message comes out there, right? Or wrong or fake or whatever. Huh?
Every third message is fake.
Every turn is fake. But I think this is there.
No, Noah's Ark is true.
Noah's Ark is there.
Yeah, actually
No, it's
building it.
there, I mean, in America. It's
Yeah, they're
some
building
state
it, yeah.
they're building it.
Vermont, I think.
Oh, Vermont. Oh. So all the skiers will come there and then they see this.
Vermont or Virginia, I'm not sure.
Huh?
Vermont or Virginia, I'm not sure.
Vermont is good tourism. It's not come there. Really? What? It's raining? Yes. How lovely. Oh my God, just what we needed. And anyway, coming to just 2 more minutes I will take. I just give you an overview of this women's rights. It is nothing really there. I told you. Whether it's Hindu women, Muslim women, it's all the same here. They're all subjugated. Religion is meant only to subjugate us. I don't think religion only plays this role thanks to our people, thanks to our. Look at what's happening. You're watching TV every day. You tell your name and your name's right there. It's so unfortunate, that people tell me it's an aberration. I said, how can it be an aberration when every single day there is a new person? It cannot be an aberration. Anyway, that's, I don't know what our country is coming to, but there is chaos already. I don't know how many of you will agree with me, but there is a lot of chaos in this country. And all of us are responsible. We all need to stand up. Not for Muslims, not for Hindus, there's no religion in there. We have to stand up for our rights. Look at all the journalists who are being, sorry, I'm digressing over 20 minutes. Look at all the journalists who are being put in. Anybody says anything, and I don't know where you're going to report, and they will tell me I'm anti-national sedition. Look at all the problems. Huh? No, I'm kidding. But that's how it's working, Everything is sedition, is anti-national. You can't open your mouth and say. And what is happening? Everybody is scared now. Yeah. But that's no way to live for us in this country, It's a beautiful, the idea of India has gone off somewhere else. Freedom of speech. No, but freedom of speech is only for the men. Don't forget. All the constitutional rights are only for the men, not for the women. We need a separate constitution for ourselves.
Outside of the religious law, Indian law, is that also decked against women? Or
That
is
also?
decked against women? Is it more pro-gay? Just the Indian law, not the religious law, not the Hindu law, not the Muslim law.
What is Indian law? The constitution?
Yeah.
No.
That's
All equality with dignity. No. Word it uses not at all. It's not at all against women. No. Equality is the famous, the preamble if you go, that's the equality there. No, not at all. As I said, we have all these laws, excellent laws, But what's the use? You see the honor killings that go on here? Let's go to the honor killings. What is happening in this country, And you have to be told what to eat, whom to marry, where to go, how to dress, anything left. Pardon?
After dying,
After
how to die.
How to die.
die.
That also. Now what do we do? Tell me. So China says no religion.
Yes.
That's better.
It's better.
Yes, I agree with you, that's better.
There we go. She agrees with you. No religion. But a lot of people are saying that.
Religion is
China
the opium of the
says,
masses.
how are you to live like that? It's horrible. So, with kind of the tree, what means all the killing, how did you fall in love with that man?
I agree.
Intercaste
There's limit to this,
marriages, couples
huh?
being murdered.
Pardon?
Intercaste marriages, couples being
Yes,
murdered.
you
What
got
happens in
marriages,
Tamil
one
Nadu?
definitely will be murdered, one of them will be. It's
Nobody just will be forced to say Jai Shri Ram.
wo bhi hai, Jai Shri Ram. Huh? So I told somebody the other day, why don't you just say Vande Mataram? Muslim person. How dare, I thought I'd get slapped the next day. I said, you know the meaning of Vande Mataram? No, but we won't say it. I said, what? It's just an ode to the motherland. That's what Vande Mataram. You're just praising you. I said, what's wrong with that? I told you you've turned Hindu. Then, I was taken aback. I said, there are a lot of people around. I said, oh, okay, a lot of influence me. But that is what Vande Mataram is. It's nothing to do with your religion. That's all it is. I can understand Jai Shri Ram or whatever if you don't want to say it. It's very frightening, I'm telling you. And that's why in the only Triple Talaq we are talking about it elevating that. So they say, oh, he loves Muslim women. Why is he doing this? I said, somebody loves us, yeah. Not victim now also, right? At least he'll pass a good law for us. I don't care. We get a law right in place. We need that. It take time, but we need that law. We need something. It's not that I'm saying that every Muslim man must go to jail, God forbid. But some deterrent, no? Today there is no deterrent at all. They do what they want. I mean, not that the non-Muslim men are not doing it. Left and right. We are doing it with impunity. It's their government and they do what they want. And everyone's name is getting spoiled because of one Muslim and they say Islam. One Hindu, they say Hindu terrorist. Then there's someone of Islamic terrorist. Where are we heading to? We don't know. That's why it bothers me that why are you every day debating this? But on the other side, I feel, yeah, we need to pass that and be done with it. But I don't know. And here we have a young lady saying, criminalize, why are you criminalizing it? I like that. It's true, that's what we're doing. By accepting this, that's all we're doing. It's a civil law. If you don't give maintenance or if you come with this Triple Talaq, but tell me what's the way out. There's nothing. I don't see any way. I want the law, whatever happens. Some deterrent that will go to jail. And the guy went to jail and on Facebook he said, I'm going to bomb it.
I mean, deterrents haven't proved to work, right? Deterrents haven't proved to work. Like prison or the death penalty as a deterrent hasn't stopped anybody from committing a crime.
I think they are reduced in numbers.
It's not.
No, it hasn't.
That is true.
So there's been a study by the National Oil University.
Deterrents always don't work, but I think they do something in the
better
earlier
than
traditional societies, no? They were more tolerant than we are today. It's a fact. If you just go back to this, they were much more tolerant. Not like today, you're dressed up like this. Very provocative. That is why he wanted to rape you with your clothes. It's come to this state to dress the way that you want to dress. Provocation, ma. Because the rape நடந்தது. What the hell is that? You know, somebody does. It happened. We don't know really where to begin and where to end with all these rights, honestly. Thank God we still have our constitution in spite of so many amendments to it, so many times we've done it, but yet that constitution is there by which we all swear and we try to take recourse to that. Equality for women and the state can make laws, provisions for special provisions for women and children. It's all there. So I say under that only this law will come. Now make special provisions, you have to do it, like Domestic Violence Act. So many acts are there. You know the process, the long drawn, the domestic violence,
But all of these acts like domestic violence and the
But-
POSCO Act, domestic violence, those are for across religion.
Yeah,
That's not
thank God for
religious
that.
specific.
Otherwise, where will we be? Oh my God, thank God we go to the police station. Everything, we're part of everything except this personal law. Personal law which relates only to women. You know, the democracy always hangs on women. And what to do?
Yes, that 2,000, 3,000 crores you said that got allotted towards women post-Nirbhaya, was any of that supposed to go towards education? I feel like, unless we change our society, the way we raise our
It was supposed to be a fund for women.
after the fact.
After that, Nirbhaya.
No, meaning after something bad happens to them, or is it to change the way society is after something bad?
I think some program there, that was the Congress government at that time. I don't think they ever used it. So I was read
For
somewhere.
rehabilitation.
Maybe it was good enough, or a fund to be set up, like she was saying, for maintenance, something, some fund where the women can't afford something. Why not? But nothing happens. It's just growing like. The last that I heard is growing. There must be a lot of crows, they're sitting there. I don't mean, that's because we are not monitoring anything. I believe this very strongly. Each one of us needs to monitor it. Now you say, how is this possible? It is possible. To write in the newspaper, people are reading, they're waking up. Why not? We can do it. We have to monitor. I mean, it's the NGO women only who brought the family courts. They fight for it. And then all the rape laws. It's the women only who really fought. Not that they went and passed the laws, but they pushed and they pushed for it. So we have to, it's 2019, we have to wake up and, raise our voices. Otherwise, I don't think anything will happen. You can have all the meetings you want and nothing really, and then each thing has to be challenged. And you see the cases that come to court, it's amazing it is, the kind of cases you know. It's terrible. And what all they resort to, I know, pardon?
It's very good.
I know one matter which I'm doing for many years now. We've got custody of the child, but the man won't give the child. With impunity, he walk up and down, but he will not. Muslims. Now, he always said she was psychotic and we hid it from him or whatever. Now he files a suit, would you believe, to the family court. Now means some months years ago. He says, my marriage is actually null and void. But why? Because fraud was committed. They never told me. So I said, wonderful. That means both the children are illegitimate, right? So come and give to the mother. The mother only can take care of illegitimate children. So it's a great idea. I said, please, we'll hold you to that. All what he wants is the kids. Let's take the kids and look at the way he talks. Like what all he writes, And it's pending in the Supreme Court and 2 orders in the High Court we have. Writ appeal and the OS and the OSA. Both we have to appeal it, but he will not give to check. Look at that brazenly he acts. Who's to correct it? Only the courts. You file a petition, get told, but it's pending in the Supreme Court, let that get over. By the time the child will grow up, it never comes up before the Supreme Court. It's a very difficult situation, not only for Muslim women. We are talking here about that, but I think for generally, how many judges do you have in the High Court? Today we have a bigger number. Quite a number today we have, I think, on the court. Otherwise, today we have quite a few. Otherwise, it's really nothing there. Anyway, I'm just going to say, lots of acts are there, but nothing is happening. And I guess, as I said, we all have to work together. And even when you talk about sexual harassment, the male says that it's very harmless. So it's like harmless amusement. Sexual harassment that he does, it's very harmless. You don't have to worry at all about it. And because the men are never victims of that assault, right? So we are women. So they say that sexual contact in the back, they say that it's nothing. What is it that you're so worried about? The women are perceiving it that way. Women flirt with women, right? It's alright. But some women are very sensitive, yes, they don't want it. But that's wrong according to them. So what is the great thing about sexual harassment? Nothing at all, at the workplace. What can happen? Intimidate her, she will not be able to get a promotion, complain about her. But everything is alright. And all these are non-negotiable, for women. Every single thing I said is non-negotiable. But, big but. I don't know, maybe it will see the light of day in my lifetime. I believe that it will happen and we will have a law. We can join the BJP or something. Yeah. She likes that. Yeah. But I'm saying, how else do you push? How else do you push for this? Please don't quote me. Tomorrow morning I'll be skinned, right? This time it won't be acid. It'll be straight shooting. It'll be a shoot on you. Not that I care if it's going to help somebody or not. But it is very sad that even sexual harassment is taken as a, I did this one. I was part of an internal committee recently with sexual harassment case and that guy, he's a tennis marker or forget everything else. You know how he looked at we both women and one man. So I said to my colleague, I said, you know what? He's mentally raping us. She said, how can you say? I said, just look at him. Look at the way he's looking at us. He's intimidating us, nothing else. I believe, but of course, we passed orders against. I think he was dismissed from service. Really, Maya, he was mentally raping us. I could see that in his eyes. What would he have done to that poor woman? I don't know. So anyway, we went through the cross and we did everything. And we finally gave a report that it's a major misconduct and he was dismissed. If that's the state of affairs that we face, all of us. What will happen to the ordinary women in the bus when they go in the bus? That's why the burqa comes in. They tell you, you're wearing that burqa because in the bus, otherwise, we get pinched. I said, doesn't matter, but don't wear. If you wear it, you're showing your identity to it, and they'll do more. So don't wear, but it's a battle which will never be won by me. This burqa wearing. It's a very difficult thing. I'm sure all of you have friends who, who must be wearing burqas and walking around. Don't look at that friend as you think. There must be a lot of friends you all know or, who will wear burqas and walk around. I'm not saying it's a shame or something wonderful to get back that space, get back your identity. But at what cost, I say? At what cost are you doing it in this country today? It wasn't like that earlier. Today it's bad. Why should we do it? An eternal battle. So the poet says, आपको बता, the poet says, ऐ माओ बहनों बेटियों, that is, you mothers, you sisters, and you daughters, दुनिया की ज़ीनत तुमसे है. That is, what is ज़ीनत? Beauty? The beauty of this world is because of you women. But that's all just, the poet can romanticize and write all this. And I don't know where we are going to go. But I do believe that we can take up the matters, we can go to court by the constitution. We can swear by our constitution and we can bring in so many things within the purview of the constitution. There are so many constitutional experts, lawyers. We can go and we can fight. I believe it. We have to do it positively. We can't sit back and say, no, forget only Muslim women. I'm talking about women in general now. We can go to court, we can fight it. It's a little extra time of yours, a little extra energy, and you have to spare some time for your fellows, for your sisters, I believe. Otherwise, how is it ever going to change? I mean, I'm going to sit in my ivory tower very happy and come here very happily and speak and go home. But that's not all, right? We need to help some way, and I think, don't you think we can go to court on all that is happening? Yeah. Never mind what the Supreme Court says, but that we have done it. You feel that you've been able to take it up. But I don't think.
We do have the power of PI.
Pardon?
Power of PI.
Power of PI. Yes, we have the power of the PI. We should be able to move anything, move the mountains.
Also the RTI, right?
Yeah, but the power of PI is very great. PIL is public investigation. Yes, definitely I believe, I'm not joking when I say, or I'm not imagining things. Don't you think we can do it? It's you youngsters who should do it. No, honestly, you youngsters should take it up and should do it. I'm telling you, when my writ petition was, what, 5 years ago, it said ms.Bader Sayeed versus Union of India. People were quite scared. My friend said, why are you risking? I said, nothing to risk. We need to stop this Qazi doing this rubbish that he's doing, And we got the direction, interim direction, it was great. But my family, here's my daughter, everybody was scared. Why do you want to do it? You never know what can, I never know anything can be. That I'm walking on the road, anything can happen. It's not only by 5 years. But I'm not saying that I've done a great thing. But I did it because hundreds of women who come to me, with this tension that they had. And they asked me, where is the law in this where is that law that you can divorce? Where is that? Show us that we won't get no answers to that. What answers do you have? So that's when I said, chalo, let's do something. And same way, we pleaded at the Triple Talaq in the Supreme Court. It was difficult. I said, no, we're going to do it. Well, now there's another PI coming shortly. I won't talk about this now, but I hope you do. I hope. Small little way. But those small things only happen. Right? Little drops of water only make that huge. And I'm sure each one of you sitting here is going to do it. You have such a wonderful lawyer here as Shan. And so many others. What do you think? When we approach you, you're going to help, right? Absolutely, yeah. It's the youngsters, they will. And I see all those pictures of Raja and everybody else who's always ready to help. I know him. We have a lot of people. Like another lawyer there.
No, I'm still.
No?
There are many future lawyers.
Many future lawyers.
Yeah.
It's a great thing, to resort to PILs. Of course, you have to make money also. That's a different issue. But you can give some part of it. Some part of it. Maya, you have come from the US, right? And you know all about it. Woman, you also can. And your mother will support you on it. Am I right? Then, here's one we have. We should be able to do it, and I'm very certain that it will happen. Okay, Jai Hind, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for a very refreshing and honest. It's lovely to hear you speak. And yes, I think you've definitely inspired many people here to do something and not just to talk. But I'd like to just thank a few people who were involved. Linda created the poster, and Akshaya and Akhalya, where do you both? They both been.
Thank you all for sitting and listening and giving me the opportunity. I know it could have been 90% boring. I just shared my thoughts because I thought everyone, the more people you talk to, they come to know what it is and some food for thought, I hope. When you get home, there's some food for thought somewhere. Not that you have to act tomorrow morning, but I think we all act like that. We go and listen to somebody, we do. And you are asking the right questions about criminalization, but don't bother with it. Just close your eyes when you're student and say, no, that act must come. That's how we have to do it. There's no other way for us to get ahead, get pushed around a lot. So when I joined politics, they told me, see, they'll be doing this all the time to you. I said, you know what, I can do it much more. I can't do what you do, I can also do it. I will remain. So, very difficult task for women to be in politics, but that to me, because I didn't know much Tamil, but I learned it all at that age. I went and learned Tamil, and I learned enough to scold the opposition. So that was it.